Daredevil back, born again, and is it going to continue to rise to the top of the viewership charts again? Based on these two episodes, I'd say so. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back for Geek Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, Daredevil episodes 1 and 2 for Born Again. I gotta say, 9 out of 10 start for me was absolutely fantastic. I'm new to this franchise. I was really interested to see what this is all about, and it did not disappoint. But the man whose opinion you want to hear about, the devil's advocate himself, Will, talk to the folks.
It's definitely sitting at a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I don't give it a 10 so that is because I got to see what else comes along with it. I don't think there's ever really a perfect episode, but these two, they hit it out the park. And the fact is that they brought back, some people from the original Netflix series to make sure they're coming in and writing and, doing, all the production stuff like that. That definitely helps a lot. The fact is that characters were talking about how this doesn't feel right. We need to kind of revamp some stuff, and then went back, revamped, or did reshoots, whatever they needed to do to make sure this series was good. They definitely stepped it up because these first two episodes are an absolute banger for the start of this show. But this is it. You want street hero vigilante justice? This is what you're getting. You want again be down in the nitty gritty of the city and all the different corrupt things that are going on. This is what you're getting. You got Fisk and Murdock who are really getting into the aftermath. And again, if you haven't watched Daredevil, again, watch the series, Punisher included, Defenders included. They're getting into the aftermath of Daredevil almost taking out Fisk and having to hold himself back from doing it, allowing him to live, as well as saying that if you don't come after my people again, I will spare Vanessa. I will not link anything to her. She will be cleared. They had an agreement. That was it. It was done. Now we got this episode kicking off. Everything is starting off with, hey, we're happy. We're at a bar. We're talking. We're doing all the good stuff. And what happens? First thing that happens is, guess what? People start getting attacked. And we got problems. And that's where we're running from there. Fisk is, again, not necessarily where he's supposed to be. Nessa's not happy about it because she's trying to run the criminal underworld. She took over the business while he was gone, missing MIA, because he was beaten down by a vigilante, which is his excuse that he's going to. And Matt Murdock is just trying to live life and so like that, but he ends up still having to protect the people that he cares about, and they're still being put in harm's way. If you watch the series, you know what this is about. Brent, you have not watched the series, so how did this opening do for you?
This opening really introduced me to what the nitty gritty and dark MCU really can be. And I know that for a lot of MCU fans, we want this to be paced for the kids. We want it to hit that young core audience, kind of have them grow up with the material. Well, here's the audience that grew up with this. The Avengers came out like 2008. It's 2025. We are 17 years down the line. The adult fans want something that is for us and tailor made to, fit our specific needs. This is it. It's dark, it's gritty, it's well paced, the writing's fluid, the action sequence to open this episode was on point. I had no idea going in who Bullseye is. After the opening segment alone, I have a pretty decent idea on who this individual is, what he's about, and the fact that he made things for our hero go from a fantastic night, one of the best of his life, to the absolute dumpster diving bottom that it kind of turned out to be for the next two episodes that kind of carry over the hangover, if you will, of his emotional feelings. It really put things in perspective, just how much damage Bullseye can do set at the right person at the right time. We still don't know why he did what he did, but at the same time, he ain't gonna tell. So it was a banger of an opening. Let's just put it that way.
Look, it was a banger. Foggy's gone. All right, Foggy got eliminated off rip. Like the show wasn't even 15 minutes in, and it was like, yo, somebody's looking for Foggy. They found Foggy. while Matt changed into his costume and went to go protect the person that Foggy was hiding that he didn't tell him about, which Foggy, you screwed up. If you would have kind of told him, he could have made sure he was better protected or could have done something better as far as a setup. But that was found out. That led to Foggy's demise. Foggy's eliminated. Karen is having a hard time dealing with it. Matt ends up going toe to toe with Bullseye, and they are scrapping hard. Remember that hallway fight scene with that where he was taking a lot of damage? Same thing, just with blades. Like Daredevil is taking a lot of damage. They scrap to the roof, and it gets to the point where we lose Foggy right there on the street, and Daredevil can't take it, and he literally tosses Bullseye off of the roof. Smack. And Bullseye survives this. But again, Daredevil is broken, Karen is broken, and the show just goes from there. Now we're wondering, like, why was Foggy eliminated? What happened to cause Foggy to be eliminated? Kingpin is still on Matt's radar because he is now trying to run for mayor in the aftermath of Foggy's death and trying to figure out how to best help the city. Well, Daredevil and Kingpin had an agreement: don't come after my friends. But again, he doesn't know who did it. He knows that Bullseye did it, but he doesn't know why Bullseye did it. Was Bullseye just after him on his own accord? Was Bullseye sent? What is the deal? Daredevil's got to figure it out. But again, because of all this, he stopped being Daredevil. This is like a year has passed, and he has stopped being Daredevil. Other vigilantes are starting to take up, arms to defend the city because Daredevil is no longer around. People have mixed feelings. Kingpin ends up winning his bid as mayor, and specifically has a conversation with Daredevil that Daredevil initiated. It was like, well, Matt and Wilson had a conversation, and it was like, there will be no more vigilantes running the streets. And then Matt's like, you stay in your lane, and we won't have no problems. Like, they are threatening each other hardcore during this entire sequence, and they are setting up for what's going to be an epic, showdown, probably in plain view of the city. Like, I feel like this is going to go down at City Hall at some point in time. Again, I don't know where they're going necessarily with this or that, but the fact is that they're getting into the nitty gritty details of, and I'm going to keep using words because that's the way I feel like everything is going. Vanessa and Wilson's relationship and how it's on the rocks and it's fractured, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. His tumultuous relationship with the city. Again, some of the constituents are all for him, some are against him, especially with the police chief, and he's still using his threat tactics and stuff to get stuff done how he wants to. You got the people who need, toilet paper for the nose because they keep sticking their head so far up, Fisk's butt trying to impress him.
Daniel.
Urich's daughter, not daughter,
Mhm.
niece,
Oh,
his
BB.
niece. Yeah, BB, who is taking up the investigative journalism because remember Urich was killed by Kingpin, so she's taking up the investigative journalism. You got this vigilante known as White Tiger who's running around out here handling business, corrupt cops. That freaking like Karen's a mess and stuff like that, and her and Matt ain't getting along. They ain't having conversations. He's got a new partner at the firm who's trying to set him up on dates, who's a therapist, who ends up being the therapist for Fisk and his wife. Like all
Small
the
world.
yo, this is too good. It's too good.
The
I
writing
don't
is
know what they're gonna do
absolutely on
next.
par where things need to be. And we pick up episode 2 with the whole scene involving White Tiger, like you're talking about, where he hears of someone getting beat down by 2 individuals who aren't disclosing who they are. He goes to assist. He's uncostumed. He doesn't have his necklace, so he's not all powered up, but he wants to go do the right thing and help this individual. That individual flees the minute he causes an opening for this thing to happen. Turns out, in the scrum fighting with these 2 people, they were cops. One of them got hit by a train. So the White Tiger is now basically on trial for the removal of a cop from the world, which in New York City, whether it be crime in our world or within the cinematic universe, this is a big deal. No one wants to root for someone who offs cops. It is a very, very bad look, especially with Kingpin City. So he's going to be watching this like a hawk because he wants to make sure the police commissioner and everything involving that storyline is tied up nicely. He wants to make sure that this trial plays out the way that he wants it to, which of course Matt, being the insane daredevil that he is, hears that Hector is getting beaten up in his cell. He is not having a good time with it because, again, whether you're just a regular inmate or you're one of the guards on patrol, you are going to have it out for either a vigilante, if they knew about it, or just someone who offed a cop. There's going to be a whole different level
Mhm.
of perspective of what's going on here. So Hector's having a terrible time with it. Matt decides to represent him. In all of his investigations, all of his findings, he sends, Cherry to go ahead and go take a look at everything. Come to find out, hey, it's the White Tiger. And he's like, why in the world would you not tell me about it? And Matt kind of passes off his inner guilt about his issues, being a vigilante on Hector, and is just kind of like throwing a very, very wide net about your feelings, which Matt is working through best he can, but he's kind of up against the wall here. The judge really isn't seeing eye to eye to him. The only good news he has is that he was able to win over the judge enough to not have the White Tiger part of Hector allowed in, which would cause jury bias, which would make him have an absolutely unwinnable case. However, in order to still win this case, because his back's up against the wall, you have that not be mistaken. He needs to go find this ghost of an individual that the two cops were basically trying to either get money from or had a deal fall out of. They just need some kind of information that we don't even have the official schematics for that. Eventually, he tracks them down. They go ahead and go and try and get him and say, hey, Cherry, go wait here. I'm going to go directly to the individual. I'm going to go try and hook him up real quick and make sure I keep him safe. As he's keeping him safe, two cops break in, and I'll let you take it away from here because things got a little messed up.
Well, the thing is, we have the corrupt cops, and they break in because it's the same cop who was there at the scene as well as a new cop. And again, we don't know how many corrupt cops there are right now. We know it's about 3. It was the one who got hit by the train, and then it's the 2 that show up here. They go in to handle the thing, and they're ready to take out Murdock without any qualms. We can't find the guy because he's already gone, and Murdock's just standing there in the apartment. They proceed to beat Murdock, and again, about to finish him off. Of course, Murdock can't let this happen. He's like, I got to take him out now, and he dispatches them brutally. I mean, bones are coming out of places that they shouldn't be coming out of. Heads are being bounced off of nice laminate floors. It's what's going to happen when you come across Matt Murdock on his worst day, what he's been dealing with. And because of that, that's how the episode ends, is with 2 cops possibly injured, maimed, or even completely done. Again, we don't know officially. And the suspect that they were after, which is his witness, is on the run to Cherry. We have Kingpin again, who is doing his best to make himself the face for the city. Again, trying to get his relationship back on track with Vanessa to help his relationship with the city. And these are the things that going into the 3rd episode that we got to look at to see, okay, how is this going to transpire? How is it going to work for the case and to get, Hector Ayala, who's White Tiger, off and not be, have this unjust, and these bad cops, go against him and get some stuff against him to put him away, as well as how is Fisk going to continue putting people in his pocket, because he mentioned Hochberg, which is the DA who is for the city against Hector Ayala. And he mentioned him that he needed to have a meeting with him. So all these webs are being strewn about as far as what's connecting what, and I'm hoping that in some case, fashion, to see, we're going to see Punisher. It's New York. We could see Spider-Man. We already know that they have inclination together. Elektra could be on the horizon. We'll see her at any point in time. That's it. Bullseye is still alive, and he can be back at any point in time. I'm sure he'll show up and show face at some point. It's like we got options here. There's a lot of stuff going on. They did not miss the mark when they made sure they pulled from the information they had from the Netflix series to keep everything canon, as well as more or less remove. And I won't say remove. I'll say gently put to the side certain events that happened in, like, She-Hulk and Echo. We're not even really talking too much about that. They make little mention of it, so it's this stuff still seems like it's canon to a degree, but mainly with the Echo part, because Kingpin got you know hit in the face with
Oh,
projectile.
just a
So
little bit.
again, this is also affecting his mental state because he was beaten very badly, as well as that happened. So this is why he was recovering. I don't know how much of this Vanessa actually knows, but again, it's having a strain on his relationship with her. So we got 18 episodes of this. So 2 down, 16 to go, and we're going to see how this is going to transpire as far as Kingpin becoming the king of New York, essentially, with being the mayor. Is he going to survive the entire term as mayor? Will he be removed out of office beforehand? Will his battle become public with Daredevil or Matt Murdock or whoever he's, in a public fight with? I do think that they're going to scrap more or less Daredevil in costume and Kingpin in public, like on City Hall steps at some point, because it's going to get that bad to where he's going to be outed. So much information is going to happen. He's going to be outed and he's going to rage out because we know that Kingpin in this show, he is a very fragile individual when it comes to hitting his triggers. Vanessa being one of them. He can take a lot of damage with that, but when you hit a certain button, he loses it and that rage comes out. Remember what he did to that melon with that car door. All right, it can happen. So I foresee we're going to get a lot more violent as the show continues on. Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, again, they spoke on said certain episodes are real bangers that you're going to see and be like, holy crap. So the fact is that episode 1 and 2 are just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be so much more underneath, and we're going to get so much more of that underworld, drama that we love to see. So,
and we're definitely going to get a different perspective on Matt Murdock all the way throughout, because like during that fight, his glasses cracked. I think that's supposed to be some deep kind of metaphor pertaining to his cracked psyche, as everything, losing Foggy, losing his identity as Daredevil, trying to figure out where his new place in the world is, trying to rein in all this violence that he's normally able to let out. Once you hold on to that poison for so long, eventually he's going to swallow you whole. He needs to be able to let this out naturally. And the minute he finished with those two dirty cops, he let out a absolutely feral scream. So he's going through it just as much as Kingpin is. How they're ultimately going to end up, situating themselves with each other, it's going to be very fascinating to see. What will be the most fascinating thing to see is you hitting that lovely subscribe button. It's entirely free, greatly helps us out, as well as hitting that like button, as this recommends tons of other videos like this one to you, so you can be up to date on all the latest content from us at Geek Variants. Any other final thoughts, Will, pertaining to this amazing start of the series?
No, this show's been great. We're going to continue to cover it the entire way through. So by all means, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following along. Freaking, if you want to give us any support, and we would appreciate it. We do have memberships live now, so that. So if you want to drop $1 for support, freaking, or a couple bucks so that to be part of our process for figuring out what stuff we're going to watch and some stuff we're going to talk about. By all means, we definitely appreciate it, and we appreciate all you guys, regardless whether you do or not. Thank you for everything that you do. We just hit our 3-year anniversary, so we're very happy about that. And it's great to be able to kick off this anniversary with this great show and continue watching this into the summer. So very happy to be here with you guys, and very happy to have this great Marvel property.
And I'll be very happy when Tony returns to run rampant with his knowledge and his lore on Daredevil. We'll see you next week.